In your health headlines, it's back to school time for many San Diego children, and a new law taking effect now requires all California children to be fully vaccinated before entering public and private schools. This means families can no longer exempt children from vaccines because of personal beliefs. Only medical exemptions will be allowed. To talk about all this is Dr. Mitchell Goldman with UCSD, as he's here every Tuesday. We'll talk more about this new law in effect. Let's go back to the beginning here. All students entering kindergarten now must have vaccinations.
That's right, Kathleen, and there's no way to get out of it except if you have a medical condition that prohibits you from being vaccinated. But you know, it's just not a personal belief thing, and these are the vaccinations that are totally required. It's measles, mumps and rubella, diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, and even polio. And so it's very important because it's a public health issue. If you're not vaccinated, you actually don't just yourself risk getting an infection and getting medical problems, but you risk the lives of others, because there's many people out there, like some pregnant women and other people that have cancer or immunodeficiency, that can't be vaccinated.
And let's talk about how we got here, Dr. G. What led to people opting out was this notion that vaccinations are unsafe and can cause autism, and you say that's simply not true.
Well, it's not just me that's saying it. It's the entire medical community. There are so many studies now that have totally discounted any possibility of any vaccines being abnormal. So it's not about the vaccines that cause autism. Vaccines don't cause any types of problems. And so the problem is one of public health, is one of protecting all of those around us. So
and we saw a resurgence, didn't we, in some diseases because people were opting out?
Absolutely. Remember last year in Disneyland when all those people got infected with measles, and then those people traveled to other places in the country, and you had large numbers of people getting measles. And measles can actually, and here's a picture of it, can actually be a very bad disease. It can be fatal and cause brain defects. And so you don't want to just not only subject yourself to the illnesses of not being vaccinated, but again, you're subjecting other people, and that's why it's a public health issue, and that's why we all have to be vaccinated.
What are the acceptable medical exemptions then for not having to get vaccinated?
If you have an immunodeficiency disease or you're under therapy for cancer, those are the reasons why you cannot be vaccinated, and it's real. But if you have those diseases and you can't be vaccinated, and someone contracts measles and you happen to be near them, you're going to catch it, and it could be a fatal disease. And that's why the entire general public really needs to be vaccinated. It's not just for your safety, it's for the safety of others.
And real quickly, while we're on the subject of vaccines, let's talk about the flu vaccine. It's certainly not required, but recommended, and it's been a bit problematic with effectiveness and supply in some cases. How effective is this year's expected to be?
Well, this year's expected to be pretty effective. My head nurse just informed me that we're all being vaccinated in my office in 2 weeks, and so the flu vaccines will start coming here, and all medical personnel and medical employees by state law need to be vaccinated, and so we're always vaccinated. Over 99% of all doctors get their vaccinations, and the reason it's really important for the very young and the very old to be vaccinated against the flu is so that they don't get sick from the flu, because again, the flu can be pretty dangerous as well.
That's right. Deaths reported for influenza just as much as anything else. Thank you so much, Dr. G, for being here.
Always good to be here, Kathleen.